Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do another story time. I'm going to tell the story of how me and my husband met. I did say in my last video that I was going to do this, and so here I am doing it. First, a disclaimer, I did just get my hair colored at a salon yesterday, and I have a little bit of black residue from the hair color, so just ignore that. It will go away. Sorry, hot mess over here, but aren't we all? So to start off, I should say that we do both work at the same school, but we didn't always work in the same school. So we both got hired on at our jobs. We are both instructional assistants, the same year, but at different schools. So the school that we work at right now was where he got hired on at. I got hired on at a different school. So after our first year, and we never met during that school year, we were both part-time. He went and applied for full-time and got full-time. And I was under the impression that they didn't give you full-time, so I went and worked at another place for like literally 3 months. Literally. Okay, so after 3 months at this other, I don't want to name the place, but it is it's like a pre-K, but it's not a school. But it's kind of like a school. We had some rough children there that I just couldn't handle the stress of being there. So anyway, so after 3 months, my mom went to my daughter's meeting at the school that we work at now, as I couldn't go because I had to work. And the principal there, because she knew me very well and she knew our family very well, because my daughter had gone to school there since she was like 3 years old. She's now in like 8th grade middle school, but before she went to middle school. She said, well, is she happy at her new job? And my mom just casually said no. And she said, oh, here's a number, have her call at the place and we'll get her back on. So my mom calls me and says, hey, I just got done with Addie's meeting. I said, how did it go? And she said, hey, I'm gonna pass on a phone number for you. You call this lady and they should be able to get you on at another school if you would like to get out of your job that you're at now, which of course I was like, yes. So I called that number, and because I had already worked there before, they had already had like my fingerprints and my, all that fun stuff. So I called and I said, hey, I got this number from blah, blah, blah. And they said that you might be needing some people and I'd like to come back. If you are able to bring me back, I would love to come back. So she said yes, that there was an IA that was about to quit and move on to another job, and they needed to fill her spot. So I went to the school that they asked me to go to, which was not my husband's school yet, or like my kid's school yet. I met the child to make sure he'd be comfortable, with me. And then I started 2 weeks later. So I worked at this other school from October of 2017 to about April of 2018. I had taken a week off right before they switched me to my kids' school, which is now my school that I work in. I had taken a week off to get a medical female procedure done. And so when I came back, I was dealing with sort of the same kind of stress and anxiety that I had dealt with at my previous job. And unfortunately, I wasn't happy where I was at. So I had a Friday that wasn't a very good Friday, and I won't go into what happened or anything, but I went home from my job and I pulled into the driveway at my house. My mom was sitting outside and I said, I think it's time to move on from my job. I'm going to quit on Monday. My mom was like, oh, you're so good at your job. You love kids, blah, blah, blah. Please don't do that. And I said, I do love kids. And my job, I love like with my whole heart. But I was very stressed. And I said, I just can't do this anymore. I think it's time to move on. So I go into work that following Monday. And they sat me down in the office and offered me a transfer. Now, the transfer was for the school that I met my husband in. It started the next day. I absolutely took it. They gave it to me because at the time, two of my children are now in middle school. My other one goes to a private school. And, but at the time they were at that school. And they said, would you like to transfer? It starts tomorrow. And they said, I offered it to you because your kids are at that school. Like, I was like, absolutely, let's do this. So I start. My job was actually that I transferred with a student who didn't necessarily need me. So the principal there offered me a custom made schedule. And so I did my custom made schedule for a couple weeks. And about like 2 to 3 weeks in from being there, I'm on lunch in the teacher's lounge, and I'm eating or drinking my protein smoothie and eating my like rice cakes that I always packed. And in walks this beautiful man who at the time had really long hair. I've cut his hair since then, but at the time he had a long hair down his back, pulled back into like a ponytail. And I'm a very shy person. Obviously, some of that's because of the way I talk, but I'm just naturally like that. My son's the same way. And I remember him walking over, like I was sitting here, and there was like right next to me was like the vending machine. So we had like a snack machine, and then we had like a soda / water machine. And he walks up to the snack machine, and I hear him say, "What to get? What to get?" Now, normally I wouldn't talk to someone I don't know. I didn't know this person's name, but for some reason I just said, "Can you believe there's a $3 protein bar in there?" I know. That was the first thing I said to him. Don't know why. He didn't look like the protein bar eater. It just, I guess it's what I knew at the time. I was in the fitness really hardcore and stuff. And he looks over and he says, "Oh yeah. And I just said that I just started to ramble. I said, the best kind of protein bars is the Quest bars, and you put them in the microwave to heat them up, and they taste like a candy bar, blah, blah, blah. And then he walked out, and he said bye, and I said bye, and I walked back up to my classroom, and I thought, I have no idea who that was, but I want to get to know him. So and on top of during this, my son had him for some of his classes, and I had heard about this man from him, but didn't have a face to a name. So then flash forward a couple months, and I'm at the beach on vacation. I had just interviewed for full time, and I was waiting on a phone call to see if I got it. And we're sitting in our condo, and this name pops up on my Facebook that says he wants to add you on Facebook. And I thought, I don't know that name, but I kind of knew that face, but I wasn't sure because in his profile, you can't see his long hair. And my son was like, "Yeah, that's who I've been talking about." And I said, "Oh, does he have long hair?" And he said, "Yeah." And I thought, "Oh, that's the guy." So I added him on Facebook. And we started talking a little bit on Facebook and back and forth and stuff. And then, and he would share because I'm a Queen fan. I mean, obviously, he would share Queen stuff sometimes. He shared a lot of music stuff, and we would talk, back and forth in the comments. And then he started talking to me on Messenger, and he told me about this one horror movie. And so I was shopping with someone, and I found the movie for like $1. So I bought it, and that was like my way of flirting, I guess. I took a screenshot to say, "Hey, is this the movie that you were talking about?" And he said, "Yeah, but that's the new version. You really need the old version." And he's like, "Oh, let me send in some movies when we get back, to work, and you can take your time with them, blah, blah, blah." So that kind of happened in August. So even though we weren't technically, we were kind of a couple, we were like single, but not talking to anybody else from August on. Our first date was in October of 2018, and I shared a event locally that our local theater was playing a Night of the Living Dead play, and I knew he liked horror movies, and so did I, and so I shared it, and he wrote, "Oh, that's so cool." And I said, "Isn't it?" He said, "Yeah, we should go." And I said, "Definitely." So he Facebooked me and said, "What day works for you?" And I said, "Whatever day is fine for you." And we just kept on talking. We got our tickets. We exchanged phone numbers, and literally the rest is history. We We started dating in October, even though we were dating. We technically say we were together in August, but we dated, like really dated, like went out, kissed, that kind of thing from October on. He moved in with me in February of 2019. And, you know, our kids got together. Our kids just loved each other. Kids love us. And we've never looked back, really. We got engaged December of 2019, which I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I knew it was coming, but I didn't know what day or anything. Then lockdown happened and we had to work at home, and we stayed at home, and we got married this year in July and have never looked back. So that's our little story time. It's not a very long story time, but literally I went to work and met him in the teacher's lounge. And that's literally how it happened. Tell me down in the comments if you have any stories like that about how you met your spouse or your significant other. If you are not a subscriber, hit that little button down there. I do story times, I do eating, I do fitness, I do all kinds of things under the sun on here. If you're into that kind of thing, please subscribe. Please give this video a like, because every like helps. And I will see everybody in the next video. Bye. Subscribe.